AskReddit by Dawson43. If it came out that we were 100% living in a simulation, what would be the biggest indicator looking back? Nice try, great code monkey in the sky. I ain't telling you what bugs to patch. I'd love for them to patch a few things. My pay, better conversations, more free time, less being overweight, no more headaches. I can't remember what it's called, but the scientific phenomenon of particles and photons behaving differently when observed. They aren't being coded into the environment if no player is observing that area. In modern physics, the double-slit experiment demonstrates that light and matter can satisfy the seemingly incongruous classical definitions for both waves and particles, which is considered evidence for the fundamentally probabilistic nature of quantum mechanics. This type of experiment was first performed by Thomas Young in 1801, as a demonstration of the wave behavior of visible light. 1. At that time it was thought that light consisted of either waves or particles. With the beginning of modern physics, about 100 years later, it was realized that light could in fact show behavior characteristic of both waves and particles. In 1927, Davison and Germer demonstrated that electrons show the same behavior, which was later extended to atoms and molecules. 2. 3. Thomas Young's experiment with light was part of classical physics long before the development of quantum mechanics, and the USB plug's still the wrong way after you turn it over. It's actually a virtual screwdriver that looks like a plug. You just have to turn it over enough times to screw it in. They never patched the animation. I used to work in a pharmacy, so I asked about 100 people for their name and job every day. A couple weeks into the job, I mentioned to a coworker how I hadn't had a single customer with the same birthday as me. Got 4 of them over the next 2 days. Edit. Another time I realized we were living in a simulation was when I said something online and 40 people replied to me saying the exact same wrong thing about the birthday paradox or the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. Lazy devs copy pasting code. I love when the simulation thinks to itself, oh, snap. I've been noticed, I better make up for it, and then it goes way overboard. Going into a room and forgetting what I was gonna do. We're Sims and they cancelled the action. The doorway effect. Basically, your brain is using the transition to a new environment to do some housekeeping, and your short-term memory getting wiped is one of those things. H. The pens. I used to go to large corporate meetings a few times a year. They gave out pens and notepads to everyone, as if I was going to take notes. I would take pens from empty seats and from co-workers and take them home. A dozen at a time at least. This went on for years. So where are the pens? There should be hundreds of them in my home. I should be able to stand anywhere and look in any direction and see a pen, but no. Then you have people like me with hundreds of pens in my junk drawer. My hilariously bad luck with traffic timing. A 2-lane road could be completely empty for half an hour, and then the second I pull up to turn onto it, a massive line of cars rolls up that I have to wait for. Once I finally turn after they pass, the road is empty again. I used to live on a mostly empty road like this, and it happened so often that I was convinced it was NPCs spawning on my location. Hey Truman. Outer space not having sound. Very convenient, dear devs. Very convenient. We're lucky we can't hear the sun. Who's controlling me and why did you make me so awkward? Playing on difficult mode. Our Sims can play The Sims. I wonder if our Sims are playing The Sims. Dreaming. What the fuck are even dreams? Like, okay, we need people to sleep to defrag the brain. Let's give them VR content to pass time, but make the physics all fucked up and scramble the sets to make AI interesting. Also lucid dreams, weirdest feeling ever, knowing you're dreaming but unable to do anything about it. And false awakening. I just had one of those last week while taking a nap. In my dream I was in bank robbery and the perps got into a gunfight in the middle of the bank. I then realized I was dreaming. Somehow I wake up, sit up on the couch and I'm trying to find my phone. I look over at the coffee table, maybe is under the stack of papers. Then I said wait a damn minute, I don't own a coffee table. Really fucked me up for the next few days. I can sometimes think of a movie or a song, and that bitch either shows up in some form on my suggestions or my actual television. How many times I've said I haven't spoken to X in a while, I should give them a call, and then my phone starts ringing. The Big Bang. There was nothing and then there was everything. Sounds like a program starting up to me. Also particles acting differently when being viewed. That it never fails that once you start to get a little bit ahead in life, your car's check engine light comes on. Actually happened to me a year ago. Haven't heard about this before though. Things would reappear only when I stop looking for it. If that's not a dead giveaway that we're living in a simulation, I don't know what is. And don't forget about hairpins and hair ties. Where do they even go? Nobody in my house recalls ever buying or using hairpins, yet we find them constantly in our house. The house is 7 years old and we've been here for 5 of those. The previous owners were an elderly couple who were both borderline bald. Too many things taste like chicken. Lazy programmers reusing the same assets as always. Nobody will ever eat this shit. Why bother make it taste different? How arbitrary the speed of light limit is. It's just the read-write speed limit of the hard drive we are living in. Junior simulation dev. Hey, should we model the whole multiverse? Senior simulation dev. Nah, just make a sky dome texture. Junior simulation dev. What do we do if they make it to the edge? Senior simulation dev. Just cap their travel speed. By the time they get there it will be somebody else's problem. From 1923 until 1956 scientists thought that humans had 48 chromosomes, 24 pairs. In 1956, scientists counted the correct number, 46, 23 pairs. What actually happened was that they patched the simulation for smooth running and reduced the chromosome number for better processing. Darn nerfing. The Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, lazy coding like GTA. You see a car for the first time and the next day you see it everywhere. I recently learned while watching a speedrun that this wasn't lazy coding, it was a hardware limitation. The old games could only keep so many different models of car loaded at once, so whatever car you were driving would become more frequent since it had to be loaded. Never seeing my neighbors carrying in groceries. I saw this mentioned the other day and had a moment of WTF, then realized I don't really watch my neighbors all that often, so why would I have seen it lol. All the deja vu moments. Like MF, I've played this level already. There are moments where I've gone wow, I feel like I've seen this place in a dream, or wow, this happened in a dream and I don't know how to react. Monarch butterflies, a soft tube of goo with tissue thin wings, and brain smaller than a grain of sand, flitters across an entire continent and back to the exact same tree in less than 1 year. Wikipedia, https://en.wikipedia.org/monarch_butterfly_migration?w_profsfti1 When the fly landed on Mike Pence's head. And the bad on Bernie's podium. Anyone else ever experienced this? It happens to me all the time, and with words that are not part of everyday speech. I'll have the TV on or YouTube while I'm reading an article, and as I'm reading, the video will say a word that I'm reading at the exact time I get to that word. I always forget the word, but most recently it was masticate. I've used that word maybe once in my life and only ever read it in a book before. But there are so many examples of this, and every time I'm left thinking, are you serious? Seems like something that might happen in a simulation. Happens when I'm driving all the time. I'll hear the idiot radio host say something and then I'll literally be reading the same word on a street sign or something. I wanna say there's a term for this phenomenon. One time some friends and I were playing a game on Steam called Tabletop Simulator. It's a game where you can play board games and have to actually move the pieces and such. It had the ability for any player to spawn in any game pieces for any game at any time. There's also an extras category. One of the extras you can spawn in is an iPad. So we get fucking around and it's a functioning iPad. I opened up Anakin Arcade and tried playing Hex Empire. It worked. So I'm sitting in my game room on my PC playing a game on Steam with a VR headset strapped to my face where I'm sitting at a table on an iPad playing full functioning flash games on that iPad. I was like, how much deeper does this go than me? Is somebody playing me too? Why not play Tabletop Simulator in Tabletop Simulator? When observed from the surface of the Earth, the moon has the exact same diameter as the sun. It's because the sun has a diameter about 400 times greater than the moon, yet is also 400 times further away. What are the odds of that happening by pure chance? Someone forgot to randomize the ratios a bit. We went from the Wright brothers flying the first plane to space missions in roughly 50 years. That's swell-demo. I don't think people realize how quickly tech evolves. Similar, but for me it's the 80 years between ironclad ships at the end of the Civil War and detonating the atomic bomb. Look at the video game industry and all the progress made in only 50 years. We went from dots and bars on a screen to photorealistic characters and full-scale worlds. Now extrapolate this progress out, say, 1000 years? I don't think it's inconceivable to think that we might be able to simulate an entire galaxy by then. And if we can, someone else might already have. You don't have to simulate everything. It only needs to be believable to the user. A smart eye would know exactly what to show you to make you believe everything you see, feel, touch, hear, smell is real. There's an old HFY story about humanity finding out our entire known universe is a simulation. Rather than take it lying down, humans get mad and do something about it. I went and found the original screenshot of the story. https://i.imgur.com/8krabb5.png. Thematically relevant to this thread, and a story I really like. If you got 5 minutes, give it a read. Edit. If HFY might be an interesting concept to you, I went and found the old Colossal Imgur album. https://imgur.com/gallery/w3na4 of various HFY story screenshots. They vary in setting, but the feeling is similar. I absolutely love and adore these sort of stories, and I would genuinely love to share a bit of it with you all. Thank you sharing. That was a fun read. It reminds me of Transmission. Story written years ago. About Xenos observing us, deciding to end us, and then realizing their mistakes much too late. Transmission. https://creepypasta.fandom.com/wiki/we_u_r_out_their . Some people getting a head knock and suddenly becoming geniuses. Or people waking from accidents or surgery and speaking with a foreign accent from countries they've never been to. Like Mary Steenburgen going in for minor surgery and coming out of it a musical savant.